Hello and welcome as Zenith Players presents Shakespeare's Lost Christmas Play by Dwayne Yancey. I'm TJ, I'm our technical director. All of the actors you'll be hearing tonight are volunteering their time and their talents from their homes on 4 different continents tonight to bring some entertainment into your homes. We want to thank them very much for joining us. We'd also like to thank our friend, your friendly neighborhood Shakespeare, for hosting this on his pages. Check out his website, Shakespeare'S.com. Follow him on Instagram at Shakespeare.approves because he is, at last check, 4 followers away from having 3,000 followers. Let's make that happen before this show ends. That would be pretty awesome, and he has no idea we're even doing that. But find out more about him at his website or by visiting on Facebook at Shakespeare Approves, your friendly neighborhood Shakespeare. As always, we want to acknowledge and thank all the medical professionals and essential workers who've been working tirelessly to keep us all as healthy and safe as possible. A big thanks to Dwayne Yancey for letting us use his work for our devious reasons. If you're interested in more information about our totally volunteer organization, check out our website, zenithplayers.com. Feel very free to check out our very attractive donations page. 100% of all donations go towards production costs, which these days consist of the various subscriptions that allow for these readings to happen. If you'd like to read with us in future projects, just send us an email at casting@zenithplayers.com and we will get you on board. We'll be back soon with more online readings, but for now, relax and enjoy Steve Anderson as Erasmus, Caitlin Jurwitz as Anne, Andrea Atwood as Thomasina, Patrick Brockway as Bartholomew, Titania Lovett-Spence as Susan, Trisha Pizzara as Emma, Mira Singer as Toby, Emily Brennan as Olivia, Joshua Boyer as Roger, Emily Durango as Joan, the stage manager, and Shakira Searle as Hortense, the director, in Shakespeare's Lost Christmas Play. The time and place, England in the early 1600s, the tiny village of Little Moldingham-on-Cheese. It's early December and some of the townspeople are attempting to organize their annual Christmas pageant. Joan, the stage manager, enters dragging, with much difficulty, a trunk. Finally, gets the trunk in place, sits on it, catching her breath. After a sufficient rest, she calls out,
"All right, everybody, come and get your costumes."
He opens the trunk. In a perfect world, a moth flutters out. Joan waves a hand back and forth to indicate something stinks.
Look, don't blame me if they're half eaten by moths. The stage manager last year didn't put them away properly. Oh, wait a minute. I was stage manager last year. Never mind. The moths are on purpose to keep out the rat.
Reaches into the trunk and pulls out a skull.
I sure hope this is from the production of Hamlet. Either that or I guess we finally know what happened to that actor. He never showed up for rehearsal.
He stuffs the skull back into the trunk and exits. A peasant named Erasmus enters, spots the trunk, and goes towards it. He reaches through the trunk, pulls out a costume, and puts it on. The costume of a snowflake. Peasant admires himself while Anne enters, spots the trunk, also runs towards it, and puts on the costume of another snowflake.
I am the most perfect snowflake ever to enter upon the village of Little Moldingham-on-Cheese.
Now Anne shows off.
I am the most perfect snowflake ever to fall upon all of Elizabethan England.
I am the most perfect snowflake ever to fall upon England since William the Conqueror did his conquering thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, I am the most perfect snowflake to fall upon England since there ever was an England.
And I am the most perfect snowflake to fall upon England since there was such a thing as snow. So there.
I am the most perfect snowflake ever to fall upon... Wait, you can't wear that.
Why not? Last year I had to be a tree. A tree doesn't do anything. It just stands there like this. Through the whole show. At least if I'm a snowflake, I get to move around like this. See, I get to flutter down out of the sky and fall upon the ground. I might even get to do a dramatic death scene when I melt. Something like this.
Falls to the ground and starts acting out a dramatic death scene.
Oh, I'm melting, melting. Oh, this too solid flesh would melt and resolve itself into a dew. Shakespeare wrote that, you know. in Hamlet. The director said last year that if I kept acting the way I did, someday I'd get to play the part of Yorick. I don't know which one Yorick is, but it must be a pretty big part. Not as big as Hamlet or the play would be called Yorick, but still big enough to have an actual name, not just third tree from the left. Was it the right? I can't remember now. I always get mixed up by that whole stage left, stage right thing.
You fell asleep.
Well, it's hard being a peasant all day and then an actor at night.
On stage.
Oh, there's not really much space to sleep backstage.
During a show.
Well, it's not like I missed any lines.
If only you'd missed something else.
I don't think it was my fault exactly. It's hard to see out of that tree costume. All those leaves were in my eyes, and I had to hold my limbs out like this. So when I turned around, I accidentally brushed up against one little thing.
It was a candlestick holder.
I think I recovered nicely. I don't think anybody really noticed.
You set your costume on fire.
Oh, I just thought it was unusually warm for that time of year.
You flamed up like a Yule log.
See, I stayed in character.
You could have just stayed put until we could douse you with a bucket of water.
The husband reaches into the trunk and produces a bucket filled with glitter.
Oh, you mean like this one? You know that's not real water, right?
You could have done the old stop, drop, and roll.
It's not my fault we live in an age without automatic sprinkler systems.
Instead, you just had to fling yourself right into the middle of the manger scene.
Well, they shouldn't have had all that flammable material around on stage. I'm pretty sure that's a fire code violation. Not that we have fire codes in the 1600s.
Those flammable materials you speak of were sheep. Live sheep.
I never knew anything could run that fast. Roast mutton coming right up.
Set the theater on fire.
Now, technically speaking, I think the sheep did. I think they're really the ones you should blame, not me.
All because of the third tree from the left.
Well, it's not my fault. It's the 1600s, and we're still using candles to light the stage. Maybe someday there will be a proper lighting system that doesn't involve open flame, and maybe someday people won't get so excited when someone yells fire in a crowded theater. Maybe someday I'll get to play Yorick.
And pulls the skull from the trunk.
This is Yorick.
Oh.
And it wasn't exactly a crowded theater. Not after that opening night review. What was it the theater critics said now?
You don't have to remind me.
No, I insist. I believe he said something to the effect of the manger scene was particularly unrealistic, especially the costumes for the camel.
Well, I wasn't the one who thought we could get by with pillowcases tied on the back of a mule.
And the decision to use a live goat on stage was a bold but ultimately unsuccessful directorial decision.
That was not a goat. That was Bartholomew. He just likes to chew on things.
But the entire production was irreparably marred by the third tree from the left, who spent the entire show performing what can only be described in polite company as a bizarre interpretive dance that brought to mind a chicken with its head cut off. Except this particular performance, if one can call it that, would have been immeasurably improved if the actor's head had actually been separated from his body.
I had head lice, okay? They itch.
So you ruined opening night. Then on the second night, you burned down the theater. It's a good thing that there wasn't a third night, or you'd have either burned down the whole town or infected us all with parasites.
Next time we have a theater critic in the house on opening night, I'll burn down the theater then. And you'll get trampled in a melee. How is the Lord Mayor, by the way? Did he ever fully recover? He promised to have my portrait done.
He promised to have you drawn and quartered.
Oh, that kind of drawn. What does the quartered part mean?
How about you just stand over there and be third tree from the left again? And this time, try not to burn anything down.
But I don't want to be a tree again. I want to be a snowflake.
But I want to be a snowflake.
What's so special about you that you get to be a snowflake?
Well, for starters, I didn't burn down the theater last year.
One little mistake and they never let you forget about it.
Unlike your lines.
I didn't forget my lines.
Oh, really now?
Oh, right. The year before that, the big scene where
We all know.
I thought the improvised song and dance routine I came up with was a real showstopper.
Oh, it definitely stopped the show. Just like you could say last year's show was a real barn burner.
Rasmus reaches into the trunk to produce a top hat and cane.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by wire. Baby, my heart's on fire. If you refuse me, honey, you lose me. Then you'll be left alone. Oh, baby, telephone and tell me I'm your own. Pretty cutting edge, I thought. Especially since ragtime hasn't even been invented yet. Or the telephone either. And granted, maybe not the most conventional choice for a Christmas pageant, but it definitely beats a medley of Gregorian chants, right?
Anne glares.
Right?
Anne glares.
Guess that's how I wound up third tree from the left.
You're lucky you didn't wind up as firewood. Although maybe we'd have been better off if you had.
Not exactly making a good case for why I should be promoted to a snowflake this year, am I?
No, you're not.
Well, why can't we both be snowflakes? We have two costumes and they match.
Why not? Because no two snowflakes are the same.
Oh, but these are. See?
Rasmus indicates the snowflake costume. Enter Thomasina.
What are you two doing?
We're apparently comparing snowflake costumes.
Snowflakes?
Yeah, you know, the white stuff that comes floating down out of the sky and piles up into snowdrifts, occasionally turns into a blizzard.
I know what snowflakes are.
Don't you think I make a good one? See?
Quite possibly, except for one thing.
What's that? Not the thing about burning down the theater again, is it?
That's not a snowflake.
Of course it's a snowflake. See, it's got the little pointy things here and here and some down here.
Those are stage curtains that the mice got into.
Ew, 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 ew,
Rip
ew.
off their snowflake costumes.
That's not to say they can't be snowflake costumes.
Rasmus runs screaming.
Soap! Soap! I need soap!
Rasmus exits. Anne and Thomasina look at each other and smile.
These are totally snowflake costumes.
Anne and Thomasina congratulate each other, put the snowflake costumes on, and exit as Bartholomew enters. Bartholomew is clearly not very bright, but he does like to eat and stand on top of things. He sniffs the air.
I smell something. I smell cheese.
Bartholomew runs to the trunk. He stops and takes a deep breath before opening it.
Cheddar, maybe? Or provolone? Maybe some brie? I'd love some brie.
Bartholomew opens the trunk and is bitterly disappointed.
Oh, no cheese. Just mice.
Bartholomew pulls out a mouse and holds it up by the tail. He is clearly contemplating whether to eat it. Hortense, the director, enters, clipboard in hand, and shouts. Stage manager follows.
All right, people, everybody gather around.
Bartholomew flings the mouse back in the trunk, slams the lid shut, and sits on the trunk.
Hurry up, chop chop, we don't have all day. Come on, step to it, we're burning daylight. Oh, all right, perhaps that's not the best choice of words, considering what happened last year. Hello? Is anybody paying attention here? Your director is trying to talk to you. How do they expect me to work under these conditions? Free food!
Suddenly, the cast rushes in. Hortense stares at Anne and Thomasina, who are wearing the snowflake costumes.
Where? Where?
Don't say free food.
Are there any vegan options? I hope there are vegan options.
I've got a family of 14 starving children at home to feed. If I can't get enough to take home to them, I'll have to turn to highway robbery or other dishonest professions, like politics.
What are you talking about? You don't have any children at home.
This is your first show, isn't it? You're so cute! Out of my way, out of my way! If I don't get something to eat, I can't be responsible for any of my actions.
You know, the only reason they feed us backstage is because it keeps us too busy to organize ourselves into a peasants' uprising that would bring down the entire medieval class system we're still laboring under. All this food is just another trick by the ruling class to subjugate the peasant class to their will.
Is that really true?
Oh, yeah. If you eat their food, you're simply collaborating with your own oppressors.
Wow. I never thought about it that way.
Good. If it makes you feel any better, I'll be happy to take all of yours.
Hey, where's the free food?
Later. The director wants to say something.
Oh man, tricked again.
See? What did I tell you? It's all part of their plan.
We all bait and switch.
I hear cheese makes pretty good bait. Not that I know anything about mice, but I know all about cheese.
Thank you. So, I've called you together to talk about this year's Christmas pageant. As you know,
At Spots, Anne, and Thomasina.
What are you two wearing?
We're snowflakes.
See?
You look like you're wearing a bunch of moth-eaten, mice-infested stage curtains.
They look at each other.
But you said...
They looked like snowflakes to me. You know, suspension of disbelief and all that.
The last time we tried to suspend something, the stagehand holding the Christmas star accidentally dropped the thing right on the audience and knocked the entire front row unconscious. What was the name of the fool that did that?
Actually, as I recall, they'd fallen asleep during Act 1, so I don't know that you can really say they were knocked unconscious.
You.
Some of them were snoring so loudly the actors missed their lines.
I told you, I never wanted to see you anywhere near this Christmas pageant ever again.
That's why I'm over here in the corner. Is this still too close?
Anything on this side of the English Channel is too close as far as I'm concerned.
And yet you still cast him last year anyway.
We were running short of trees. What can I say?
Maybe if we made the star out of something lighter than those iron rods we used. Oh, I must say, it did make quite an impression when it fell. Mostly on people's heads. You know, if all those people just wore hats, I don't think you'd be able to tell at all.
Erasmus, you have brought nothing to this pageant but trouble and chaos from the very beginning.
That's not so. One year I brought snacks for everyone before the show.
See? What did I tell you? Now they've been even indoctrinated some of the peasants to carry out their evil schemes for them.
I thought that would help lift people's spirits before the show. Nothing like a big piping hot bowl of gruel to warm the belly and loosen up the vocal cords.
Hortense glares.
Oh, right. That was the year of the food poisoning incident. But that's purely circumstantial. I left that gruel sitting out for at least a week to make sure it was fresh.
How is it you keep finding a way to worm your way into this show?
Not the word I would have chosen.
I'll deal with you later. So, do we have everybody?
Hortense counts off cast members by calling their names. Those cast members raise their hand to signify their presence.
All right. Anne, Thomasina, Susan, not you, Emma, Toby, Olivia, Bartholomew, all right. Good. So, I want to talk about this year's Christmas pageant in the wake of the problems we had last year.
Oh, you mean the fire? Yeah, that was awesome. I thought it was all part of the show until everybody started stampeding out. That was just the actors.
So, the good news is that despite last year's incident, the town has once again agreed to allow our troupe to perform a Christmas pageant in the town square.
I can't believe they agreed to let us do that.
Are you serious? People will come from miles to see us now. They're all hoping for a repeat.
So that's why the town passed an admissions tax.
Ka-ching! Although that's more like the sound of a cash register, and there are no cash registers in rural England in the 1600s, so what do I know?
I know we were promised food.
The bad news is that we lost almost all of our costumes.
Except for the snowflakes. Or the moth-eaten, mice-infested curtains, whichever.
We also lost almost all of our props.
We still have a skull. We could do Hamlet.
Everyone glares.
Okay, I admit Hamlet isn't exactly a traditional Christmas fare, but we could just change a few lines and make it work.
Erasmus acts out Hamlet.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, such as a bad review from a theater critic who wouldn't know his dramatic pause from an actor who just forgot his lines, or to take once again to the stage to perform our favorite show, to die, to sleep no more. Like those people who were nodding off in the opening scene. To sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For we are but poor actors out here in the provinces, poor players who struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more.
An hour? I wish I had an hour on stage. Last year I only had one line.
But soft, what light through yonder window breaks?
I think that light was probably the fire. I know some people backstage had to break a window to get out.
It's the east, and Juliet is the sun, or perhaps the Christmas star.
Wow. Just wow.
You like that? It's my own interpretation.
You just managed to conflate Hamlet and Macbeth and Romeo and Juliet into a single play.
It's a talent.
You know what I call it?
Riveting, spellbinding, must-see theater.
A tale told by an idiot, signifying nothing.
Oh, that's not good, right? That doesn't sound good.
Now, here's the worst news of all.
You mean worse than burning down our theater and most of our props and costumes?
We also lost all our scripts.
Oh, well, that's not so bad, is it? I mean, we all remember our lines from last year, right?
Everybody glares.
Oh, right.
I remember mine. Oh, wait, I didn't have any.
But not to worry, I have a plan.
When your director says not to worry because they have a plan, you don't have to worry.
Oh, good, because I was afraid there for a moment.
Yeah, that's when you should go into a full-scale freak out like this. Ah!
Are you quite finished?
Sure, carry on. Doesn't sound like it will matter anyway, after all.
We're all doomed.
All doomed.
On the contrary, we will be in even better shape than we were before.
And unicorns will fly through the sky.
That's absurd. Unicorns don't fly. You're thinking of Pegasus.
I have certain connections, shall we say, in London. And I have made arrangements with a certain well-known playwright to write a script just for us. Now, I'm not at liberty to say his name.
Ugh, they're just being dramatic.
But his initials are William Shakespeare.
You've hired William Shakespeare to write us a Christmas play.
Well, I won't exactly say hired. It's more of an understanding, if you will.
Or a misunderstanding.
Sort of a gentleman's agreement.
There was no agreement.
Kind of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you know what I mean situation.
There was no winking and no nudging.
Fine, I wrote him a fan letter and he hasn't said no. How else would you interpret that?
I'm just the stage manager. I only deal with the real world.
I'm sure he's busy putting the finishing touches on it right now.
Oh, I can see it now. Richard III, redone as a Christmas play. Now is the summer of our discontent made glorious winter. Midsummer Night's Dream becomes Midwinter's Night's Dream. And the fairy puck gets transformed into a hockey puck.
It gets colder at night in winter. Better set it by day.
Oh, wait, I know. Henry V. Oh, for a muse of fire.
Very funny.
Actually, Henry V is a drama.
I don't care. As long as there's free food.
That would be Twelfth Night. If music be the food of love, play on. Strike up the band.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Are you quite done?
Encore, maybe? Who wants an encore?
Erasmus works the crowd to cheer for an encore.
See? They want an encore. Hit it! Deck the halls with boughs of holly. Fa la 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 la.
'Tis the season to be jolly. Fa la 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 la.
Don we now our gay apparel. Fa la 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 la.
Roll the ancient Yuletide carol. Fa la 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 la.
See the blazing Yule before us. Fa la 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 la.
Strike the harp and join the chorus. Fa la 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 la.
Very appropriate.
Thank you. I thought so.
Especially the part about the blazing Yule.
Oh.
It was more like see the blazing Yule behind us once we all got out. We did all get out, didn't we?
Sometimes I wish some of us hadn't.
Roger enters holding a letter.
Hortense! Hortense!
I'm right here. You don't need to shout. But you do project very well. So, yes, please go ahead and shout.
I've got a letter for you from London.
A letter for me from London. I wonder who that could be. Oh, that must be from you know who.
Royal executioner, maybe? With a warrant for a certain local arsonist named Erasmus?
Oh, look. There's his name right there on the return address. I've done it. I've done it. I've got a letter from William Shakespeare. I know he's going to say yes. I just know it. How could he possibly tell us no?
Quite easily, I suspect.
We're going to have a Christmas play by Shakespeare. A world premiere of a Christmas play by Shakespeare. Oh, I can feel it in my bones.
If that's what you're feeling in your bones, you may want to see a doctor.
Oh, I'm too excited to read this. Here, you read it.
Completely unrealistic. The literacy rate in Elizabethan England is 5% for women and 15% for men. You can't just hand a letter to some random peasant and expect them to be able to read it.
Hey, I am not a random peasant.
Yeah, you look pretty random to me.
Yeah, that's me then. Random Roger. Kind of has a nice ring to it, don't you think?
It's how the aristocracy keeps us down. What's the point of publishing a revolutionary manifesto if nobody can read it?
Go on. What's it say? Read it to everybody. Oh, this is history in the making.
All right.
Let's read the letter.
Remember, use your diaphragm.
All right. My dear Hortense,
See, my dear, I'm a dear to him.
I am in receipt of your recent communication where you inquired whether I would be receptive to writing a Christmas play for the poor players of Little Moldingham-on-Cheese.
That's us. Oh, that's us. We're definitely poor players.
I wonder how he means poor.
I refer to you to the words of Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 3, line 87.
Oh, Hamlet. That's one of the big ones.
Act 3, Scene 3, line 87. Act 3, Scene 3, line 87.
Hamlet's one of my favorite ones. I wonder why he never wrote a sequel to Hamlet.
Dies in the end.
Way to spoil the ending there.
Rasmus goes looking for a copy of Shakespeare's plays.
What? Act 3, Scene 3, line 87. Act 3, Scene 3, line 87.
In closing, I am your humble servant, W. Shakespeare.
Humble servant. Did you hear that? He's our humble servant.
Met a servant who wasn't humble? All the ones weren't humble that I know wound up on the executioner's block.
P.S. Enclosed, please find a glossy 8x10 that I have personally autographed, suitable for framing.
Oh, a glossy 8x10. I have no idea what that means, but it sounds impressive. Doesn't that sound impressive?
Does anybody have a copy of Shakespeare's collected works laying around?
Peasants in the early 1600s. Of course, we have the collected works of Shakespeare just laying around.
Oh, you mean that big heavy doorstep thing? Sure.
Ptolemy picks up a copy of Shakespeare's work that's been serving as a doorstop and hands it to Erasmus.
3, Scene 3, line 87. Act 3, Scene 3, line 87.
What's it say? What's it say? I can't wait. Shakespeare is going to write us a Christmas play. What's it say?
No.
Hortense acts out a sword fight.
I wonder if it'll have a sword fight in it. I like the ones with sword fights. A sword fight may not sound very Christmassy, but I bet Shakespeare could make it. Well, what do you mean? No.
I mean, that's the line. No.
No what? There's got to be more to it than just that. I know this will be a box office smash, or I know this will be the biggest thing since Henry IV parts 1, 2, and 3. I don't see why he wrote that so many times. The last few kind of dragged, if you ask me.
I mean, no, as in no.
You mean no, as in he's saying he won't do it?
I'm saying that Hamlet thinks about killing his uncle and is debating back and forth whether he should. And then finally, by line 87, he says no.
Hamlet always did take a long time to make up his mind.
I wonder who Shakespeare's thinking about killing.
Oh.
So what are we going to do now?
I still don't really care what we do now. Is there any food?
I mean, at least he didn't say Richard III, Act 1, Scene 2, line 332.
What's that say?
Out of my sight, thou dost infect mine eyes.
Oh, there was one other thing.
What's that? Maybe he referred us to Christopher Marlowe? I'd settle for a Christmas play by Christopher Marlowe.
Marlowe's dead?
Oh, well, one of those other big-name London playwrights then. Not that I can name any. What was that you meant by one other thing?
There's a royal messenger on the way.
A royal messenger? But what would a royal messenger want with us here in Little Moldingham-on-Cheese?
Probably just a fancy word for a tax collector.
Tax collector? Uh-oh. Excuse me. I'll be right back, like maybe in a couple of years.
Thomasina starts to exit but doesn't get far.
Uh-oh.
What do you mean, uh-oh?
I mean, you'll see.
You'll see what? Oh.
Royal Herald enters accompanied by a plague doctor in the traditional plague doctor costume that looks like a giant crow. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. I am the Royal Herald.
Is his name really Harold, or did it just work out that way? Because if that's how it works, then that would mean I'd be the Royal Bartholomew.
Everyone glares. The plague doctor pokes Bartholomew with his stick.
What? I just asked a question.
Gather around to hear a royal proclamation. Not that much around. Space yourself out some. A little more. A little more still. Come on, you can't really be that friendly, can you? 6 feet apart, in all directions. Plague Doctor moves among the players, measuring how far apart they are. He carries a stick and pokes the players to move them further apart.
Hey, easy with that, mister.
I like this guy. You want to stage manage our next show? I think you might have a real talent for prodding people.
Plague Doctor pokes the stage manager.
Ow!
Nice costume. I think I like that better than being a snowflake. Do you mind if I...
Hand reaches to feel the beak. Plague Doctor uses a stick to smack her hand away.
I guess you do. Ow.
All right then. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. A royal decree for the people of... Insert name of town. Oh, right. I messed that up every time. What's the name of this place?
Little Moldingham on cheese.
Right. Moldy ham on cheese.
Not moldy ham on cheese. Moldingham on cheese. You need to enunciate.
Plague Doctor approaches Hortense with the stick.
On the other hand, I don't suppose it really matters. You just go on and read your proclamation thing.
As I was saying, a royal decree for the people for the moldy ham on cheese. Whereas the plague now runneth rampant through the kingdom.
Plague? There's a plague?
Plague, pestilence, pandemic.
Nobody told me there was a plague.
Also commonly known as contagion, infection, the sickness.
I mean, why do you think we've been wearing masks this whole time?
Oh, those things? I thought they were just the latest fashion from London, like the codpiece for the face.
The grip, the bug, the crud.
I found a bug in my soup once. But he didn't seem to mind. He was just swimming round and round, happy as could be.
The outbreak, the eruption, the scourge.
Okay, I get it.
I think that's what we're all afraid of.
I tried wearing a cod once. It was certainly an ordeal. Of course, it was an actual codfish.
The indisposition, the infirmity, the disorder.
You hurry it up. I'm hungry. Somebody promised us free food.
The transmission, the miasma.
I think he's slowing down. He only had 2 there.
The affliction, the vexation, the ordeal.
Guess not.
This is definitely an ordeal to listen to all these.
The syndrome, the condition, the toxoid.
At least we get to learn some new words.
I'm not sure I want to know some of these words.
Maybe I shouldn't have asked a fishmonger for fashion advice.
Plague Doctor pokes Bartholomew with the stick.
Hey, that thing's sharp.
Unlike some people we know.
In summary,
Oh, thank goodness.
all forms of the baleful ailment, condition, or disease that is now running its course across the land.
All right. Guess we've got that wrapped up.
I think he's just getting started, actually.
Including but not limited to all associated maladies, complaints, and fevers.
I have a complaint. No, it's not a sickness or anything. It's just a complaint. My neighbor's roosters always wake me up in the morning when they crow. Could we pass an ordinance making it illegal for them to crow first thing in the morning? I need my beauty sleep!
Plague Doctor pokes Emma with the stick.
Or maybe I'll learn to live with it.
Therefore, it has been so decreed, ordered, ordained,
Oh, here we go again.
declared, announced, proclaimed.
Do we need to write all these down? Is there going to be a test or something?
That all subjects are hereby commanded, directed, required, etc., so forth and so on.
Phew. I don't think I could take much more of that.
To keep a distance of at least 6 feet from one another.
I don't have any problem with people staying 6 feet from me.
In a barn.
Well, technically, it's a pigsty.
Accordingly, all revels, plays, pageants, and other entertainments are hereby cancelled until further notice. Signed, well, never mind, you know who signed it.
Cancelled? Did you say cancelled?
Cancelled, scrubbed, scrapped. Shall I go on?
No.
No.
Good. My throat's getting a little scratchy. You have no idea how hard it is to say the same thing all day long, over and over and over and over and over. Maybe I'll just stop there.
But you can't cancel our Christmas pageant.
I think he just did.
Hey, I'm just the messenger here.
Yeah, so was I, and they didn't like what I had to say either.
Not that there was much left to cancel since we don't have any scripts or any costumes.
And shows off the costume.
Hey, snowflakes.
Yeah, snowflakes.
Like I said.
But what are we going to do without our Christmas pageant?
Don't know. Not my problem.
We've always had a Christmas pageant. People look forward to it all year long.
Maybe not. The Lord Mayor, after he got trampled last year.
So, what do you say we call it a day? I'm going to head down to the local tavern and knock back a few.
But hot tea with lemon would be better for your throat.
I'm not talking about drinking. I'm talking about the locals. They think they're so tough. Always want to impress the new guy from London. I'll show them. Bam! Right in the kisser. Come on, Doc. Let's go. Royal Herald signals to the Plague Doctor and they move toward the exit, but don't exit yet.
Well, sorry, folks. You heard him. May as well go back to your tedious, meaningless lives. You have nothing left to live for.
Maybe if the Christmas pageant were that dramatic, more people would come out to see it.
So, where do I file my expense report? I did run up some expenses on the trip to London and back, you know.
So does this mean I won't get to be a snowflake? Because I was really hoping to be a snowflake.
Does this mean we won't be having the live animals on stage again? Because people totally loved it last year when those sheep caught fire.
Does that mean there won't be any Christmas this year? Because if we don't have a Christmas pageant, how do we even know it's Christmas?
Does this mean that there won't be any free food backstage? Because I'm all about the free food.
Wait.
What? There's free food after all?
Not you. Him, her, them. Whoever is under that getup. Plague Doctor, come here.
Plague Doctor turns around and points to himself as if to say, me?
Yes, you.
Up to you, Doc. You can stay if you want. I'm going to go hit the hay and anyone who gets in my way. Royal Herald shows off some boxing moves and exits.
What are you doing?
You'll see.
The pageant's lost, abolished, eliminated.
Now she's as bad as that Herald.
Woe is me! Woe is woe! My life's work is down the drain.
What are they talking about? They work at the bear pit the rest of the year.
If your job is dealing with angry bears every day, then our little Christmas pageant might look pretty good after all.
Well, I guess you've got a point there.
Plague Doctor pokes Toby with a stick.
Not as sharp as his point, though.
Ruined. I'm ruined.
Not as much as me. I was counting on something to eat here.
If you'd let me know, I could have brought you back something from London. Of course, I'd have probably eaten some of it on the way. Care for an apple? I found it lying in a street in London near the horse stables, so it's probably still good.
Roger offers the half-eaten apple. Susan ponders the offer.
Sure. Why not? Looks like that's all I'm getting around here.
Joan, the stage manager, approaches the plague doctor.
So, Doc, may I call you Doc? Your herald said we have to stay 6 feet apart.
The plague doctor nods.
But he also said that all entertainments were cancelled.
The plague doctor nods.
So, let's just suppose, for the sake of supposing, that we could hold a pageant with everyone 6 feet away.
That doesn't count very entertaining.
Exactly. So if it's not entertaining, then it wouldn't classify as an entertainment, correct?
The plague doctor ponders this question.
I have no idea where you're going with that. On the other hand, I have no idea about most things, but the flaming sheep last year, I have lots of ideas about them.
So if we were to hold a Christmas pageant with everyone 6 feet apart, it wouldn't count as a pageant at all.
Now I'm really confused.
Therefore, we could hold a Christmas pageant after all. It just won't be a Christmas pageant.
I'm definitely confused.
I'm not.
See? Problem solved.
I think Joan just found us a loophole. In another era, she might be a lawyer, or even worse, a lobbyist.
Thanks, Doc. You've been a big help. Maybe we can even find a part for you. You know, the strong, silent type. Or at least the silent type. You don't happen to have any hidden talents, I suppose. You know, like tap dance, something like that?
Plague doctor shakes their head no.
All right, guess not. Anyway, there you have it, people. The pageant's back on as long as we stay 6 feet apart. The plague doctor says so. Or at least doesn't say so.
You're forgetting one thing.
Sometimes I forget my own name.
We don't have any scripts, remember?
Yeah, the fire.
The sheep.
And all our scripts. We don't have anything to perform.
I could do some card tricks.
Dude, you cheat at cards.
That's the trick.
Plague doctor starts to exit. The stage manager stops him.
Not so fast, Doc. We're not done with you yet.
If only Shakespeare hadn't let me down.
Maybe he hasn't.
What do you mean?
I'm not going back to ask him a second time unless I get travel expenses upfront.
Erasmus.
What did I do?
More like, what didn't he do?
Why are you even still here? Didn't I tell you I didn't want to ever see you again?
I think that was pretty much everybody here.
I've been trying to hide in the back.
No more hiding.
Yeah, no more hiding.
Yeah, if it wasn't for you, we could be snowflakes right now. Well, that and the plague.
You know Shakespeare, right?
Well, not personally.
Apparently, our director doesn't either.
Hey. But you've got a copy of his plays, right?
Right here. Why?
Let me see that.
Erasmus hands the stage manager the book.
The complete works of William Shakespeare so far. Very good.
Stage manager takes the book, rips out the pages, and flings them in the air.
Hey, what are you doing?
There. All the works of Shakespeare so far.
You ruined it.
On the contrary, just put them back in a different order and presto, you have a brand new work of Shakespeare. Our Christmas play is probably in there somewhere.
Erasmus starts picking up the pieces of paper.
That doesn't make any sense. Shakespeare hasn't written any Christmas plays.
Not in their present order, but maybe if Erasmus here puts them together in a different order, Shakespeare's written a Christmas play for us after all and just didn't realize it.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Other than us not running Erasmus out of town after what happened in last year's pageant.
Those sheep ran out of town. Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole! Or was that when they fell into the cellar under the armory?
The armory full of gunpowder.
Kaboom!
Here we thought it was snow falling down, and it was really just wool.
Yeah, that was the best Christmas pageant ever, other than burning down the theater and all that.
So, what do you say?
This might just work.
See? And what? You're kidding, right? I was just kidding. You know, trying to lighten the mood.
No. I've got this.
Erasmus starts handing out pieces of script to everyone on stage except for Hortense.
Here, you say this. You say this. This one's for you. And you get one too.
Comes to the stage manager.
This one is yours.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm the stage manager. I don't have any lines.
You do now. And for you, and you.
Can I still be a snowflake?
He hands Anne a script.
You can be a snowflake.
All right, I'm a snowflake.
What about me?
You can be a snowflake too.
Erasmus hands Thomasina a script.
All right, I'm in.
What about me?
No, you can't be a snowflake.
Oh, man.
But you can be this.
He hands Bartholomew a script.
What? All right. I have no idea what this means.
And finally...
Erasmus has one script left. He looks around and sees the plague doctor.
This one's yours. All right, we're fully cast.
Looks like that's not the only thing that's full.
What do you mean?
Stage manager points to the audience.
Looks like we have a full house too.
What? Where did all these people come from?
Nobody told me to take down the signs from last year, so they've been up all year. Town Christmas Play, December 18th.
Good thing we've got a script then.
We haven't rehearsed anything.
They don't know that.
They will once they see it.
Better think fast then. Places, everybody.
All of the actors except Hortense and Joan, the stage manager, exit.
You're on. In 5, 4, 3.
Stage manager signals go. Hortense addresses the audience.
Welcome to Little Moldingham-on-Cheese and our annual Christmas pageant. As you can see, we've had a few changes since last year, but we're glad you could be here with us tonight. We have a special treat for you this year.
Hortense keeps looking to the stage manager for guidance, who gives thumbs up and other signs of approval.
Instead of our traditional Christmas play, we have a new play for you tonight. Something produced especially for us. Ladies, gentlemen, non-binary gentles all, may I present to you Shakespeare's Lost Christmas Play.
Hortense steps aside. Roger enters, dressed in winter garb and shivering. All the lines that follow come from Shakespeare.
The air bites shrewdly.
Susan and Olivia, also in winter garb and shivering. As Susan speaks, Anne and Thomasina enter, dressed as snowflakes. They dance about, indicating a snowstorm.
Here feel we but plenty of Adam, the season's difference as the icy fang, and shirless shiding of winter's wind, which, when it bites and blows upon my body, even till I shrink with cold, I smile.
When great leaves fall, the winter is at hand.
Anne and Thomasina realize they need a leaf. They run and get some and let them fall.
Thus sometimes have for brightest day a cloud, and after summer evermore succeeds. Barren winter with his wrathful nipping cold, so cares and joys abound as seasons are fleet.
Now is the winter of our discontent.
What freezings I have felt, what dark days seen, what old December's barrenness everywhere.
Bartholomew enters.
My belly's as cold as if I had swallowed snowballs for pills.
This cold night will turn us all to fools and madmen.
In winter's tedious nights, sit by the fire with good old folks and let them tell thee tales of woeful ages long ago betid.
Anne and Thomasina continue to dance around as snowflakes.
That is hot ice and wondrous strange snow.
Spring, the summer, the chiding autumn, angry winter.
Emma enters, distraught.
Blow, blow, thou winter's wind, thou art not so unkind as a man's ingratitude.
How now, spirit? Whither wander you?
Fear no more the heat of the sun, nor the furious winter's rages. Thou the worldly task hast done. Home art gone and taken thy wages. Golden lads and girls all must, as chimney sweepers come to dust.
What is the matter? Keep the peace here.
I that never did weep now melt with woe, that winter should cut off our springtime sow.
Erasmus enters quite happy, dressed in holiday garb. He acts as kind of a master of ceremonies. He's very upbeat in a showman-like kind of way.
For mirth becomes a feast.
He speaks holiday.
Small cheer and great welcome makes a merry feast.
I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth.
I wish you all that joy that you can wish.
When sorrows come, they not single spies, but as battalions.
Too much sadness hath congealed your blood.
That time of year thou mayest in be behold, when yellow leaves are none nor few, do hang upon those boughs which shake against the cold. Bare ruined choirs where late the sweet birds sang. In me thou seest the twilight of each such day.
Come what sorrow can, it cannot countervail the exchange of joy.
There's nothing in this world that can make me joy.
The miserable have no other medicine but only hope.
It is a melancholy of mine own, compounded by many simples extracted from many objects, and indeed the sundry contemplation of my travels, which by my rumination wraps me in the most humorous sadness.
Toby enters with flowers meant for Emma, whom he intends to woo.
I do not ask you much. I beg cold comfort.
Being holiday, the beggar's shop is shut.
Doubt thou the stars are fire. Doubt that the sun doth move. Doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love.
Fare ye well, your suit is cold.
I would not wish any companion in the world but you.
Cold indeed and labor's lost. Then farewell, heat, and welcome frost.
Toby presents Emma with the bouquet.
They keep seeming in savor all the winter long. Grace and remembrance to you.
At Christmas I no more desire roses and wish a snow, in May's one now fangled mirth.
A rose by any other name would smell as sweet.
A barren detested vale you see it is, overcome with moss and baleful mistletoe. Come now, woo me, for I am now in holiday humor, and like enough to consent.
I can express no kinder sign of love than this kind kiss.
Then kiss me, sweet and twenty.
Erasmus steps forward to separate Emma and Toby before they can kiss.
Be everyone officious to make this banquet.
Shall we their fond pageant see?
Joan, the stage manager, enters with a burning cauldron and sets it on a table.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
I almost die for food, and let me have at it.
Speak this in hunger for bread.
Mine eyes smell onions.
Most dear actors, eat no onions or nor garlic, for we are to utter sweet breath.
Stage manager exits. The actors gather round to get something to eat, even the two snowflakes.
I'd rather live with cheese and garlic.
They call for dates and quinces in the pastry.
Do you think because you are virtuous, there shall be no more cakes?
Anne and Thomasina continue eating, even as the others continue on with other tasks.
Look on me well. I have eaten no meat these 5 days.
What say you to a piece of beef and mustard?
She is hot because the meat is cold.
My salad days.
Sweets to the sweet.
I have newt and tow a frog?
Now, my fairest friend, I had some flowers of the spring that will become your time of day.
Stage manager enters with a Christmas tree.
What wood is this before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Great Burnham wood to hide Dunsinane Hill.
Joan, the stage manager, exits.
Under the greenwood tree who loves to lie with me. His tune is merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither. No enemy shall he see, but winter and rough weather.
This our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, servants in stones, and good in everything.
One touch of nature makes the whole world kin.
Joan, the stage manager, enters with a box of lights and ornaments to put on the tree. Various actors join in to help.
Put forth thy hand, reach for the glorious gold.
Bedeck thy shape, thy love, thy wit. This noble shape is but a form of wax.
The appearance of welcome is fashion and ceremony.
Roger holds up an ornament.
Old fashions please me best. I am not so nice to change to the true rules for odd inventions.
Roger holds up an ornament that's not gold.
All that glitters is not gold.
Emma holds up an ornament shaped like the moon.
The moon of Rome, chaste as the icicle that's curdled by the frost from purest snow.
Bartholomew flings icicles.
When icicles hang by the wall.
Susan moves an ornament that someone else has put on the tree.
The ornament to shape and love mishap in the conduct of them both.
Toby holds up the star and puts it on the top of the tree, ascending a stepladder if necessary.
Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention.
Peasants applaud and admire the tree.
I say there is no darkness, but ignorance.
Stage manager plugs in the lights, and they come on.
Butt soft. What light through yonder window breaks?
How far that little candle throws his beams, so shines a good deed in a weary world.
Now God be praised, to believing souls give light in darkness, comfort in despair.
Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none.
Go, draw aside the curtains, and discover.
One of the peasants pulls back a curtain and discovers a box of wrapped Christmas presents.
Oh, fortune reigns in gifts of the world.
Now make your choice.
The peasants take out the presents.
Heaven give you many, many merry days.
Emma reads the inscription on a present.
Who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire.
Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves.
Who chooseth me must give and hazard all he hath.
It is worth the pains.
All the year we're playing holidays, to sport would be as tedious as to work.
Hark!
What say you?
Erasmus points outside.
Lawn as white as driven snow.
Anne and Thomasina, still eating, realize they need to be snowflakes again. They proceed to flutter about, trying to imitate snow.
Whether than new snow on a raven's back.
How sweet the moonlight sleeps on this bank.
The moon shines bright in such a night as this, when the sweet wind minds gently kiss the trees, and they did make no noise in such a night.
Play music, and you brides and bridegrooms with measure heaped in joy, to the measures fall.
Cash backs away as Thomasina takes the stage. Oh, that is entertainment! presumably there's audience applause. And Hortense enters.
Our revels now are ended.
What? No more ceremony?
Yea, all which it inherit shall dissolve. And like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a wreck behind.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Plague Doctor enters, removes his headpiece, and speaks. If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here while these visions did appear. And this weak and idle theme no more yielding but a dream. Gentles, do not reprehend. If you pardon, we will mend. And as I am an honest puck, if we have unearned luck now to escape the serpent's tongue, we will make amends ere long. Else the puck a liar call. So, good night unto you all. Give me your hands if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends. Plague Doctor bows. End of play. Thank you for joining us for Shakespeare's Lost Christmas play by Dwayne Yancey. We'd like once again to thank our friend, your friendly neighborhood Shakespeare, for hosting this on his pages. Check out his Facebook page. Give him some love. Follow him on Instagram because as far as I know, he's still 4 followers away from 3,000. Maybe even catch him live at a Renaissance fair near you in 2022. Huge thanks to all the actors who read for us tonight. If you enjoyed this reading, all of our readings are available on our Facebook page and a little better organized on our website. If you would like to read with us and join all of these beautiful faces you see around me, send us a message on Facebook at Zenith Players or send us an email, casting@zenithplayers.com, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And once again, big thanks to Dwayne Yancey for letting us borrow his work and do this to it. We will be back in 2022 with more online readings. Happy holidays, happy new year. Thank you and good